afternoon, or good day rather. Welcome to my little YouTube podcast where I talk about IP matters. Today, we are diving into a Nollywood case that combines film, celebrity, intellectual property, and the rest. Basically, this Nollywood case is about the Domitilla trademark dispute between Zeb Ejiro, a veteran Nigerian producer and actress, and Njemaze. This case is not just about the movie title, it is about the ownership of intellectual property rights in Nigeria, the gaps in our laws, and my personal opinion on what happened in this case. So, to the background of the case, let's start with it. In 1996, Zeb Ejiro produced the blockbuster Nigerian film Domitilla. It told the story of a young woman navigating life as a sex worker in Lagos. The movie became an instant hit and it remained a reference point as everyone in the Nigerian culture were using it as reference point. 3 years later, in 1999, Zeb Ejiro released a sequel, Domitilla 2. Both films starred actress Anne Njemaze, who played the lead character in these movies. Because of her role, she became strongly associated with the character outside of the movie and amongst the public because she played the lead role. Fast forward to 24 years in 2020, Zeb Ejiro announced plans to reboot the film with a new part titled Domitilla the Reboot. But this is where the twist comes in. Around that same time, an Njemaze applied to register the trademark Domitilla and device in quote at the Nigerian Trademark Registry in class 41, which covers entertainment, film production, and related services. Afterwards, she then sent a cease and desist letter to Zeb Ejiro, that's the producer of the movie, and his partners, warning them not to proceed with the reboot, claiming it would infringe on a registered trademark. Mr. Ejiro, through his lawyers, petitioned the Trademarks Tribunal to cancel her registration, arguing that he was the true proprietor of the name. Having laid out the background to this case, it is paramount we move into the tribunal's decision and the issues that were distilled. Basically, what were the key issues? The number one and the sole issue in this case, as seen, is who is the true proprietor of the trademark Domitilla? Was it the actress who embodied the character? That is Mrs. Anne, yes, and later registered the name, or the producer who created, financed, and first released the movie and even its sequel? Does playing a character in a movie give an actor ownership rights over the name of that character? Also, was an Njemaze, that's the actress, her registration, was it valid or was it filed in bad faith to block the producer's reboot project? Now, let's look at the tribunal's ruling. In this case, the Trademarks Tribunal ruled in favor of Zeb Ejiro. It held that an Njemaze was not the true proprietor of the Domitilla mark. The tribunal also reasoned that the only evidence she relied on was an acknowledgement letter from the registry, which by itself is not in any way proof of proprietorship. Instead, the tribunal recognized Zeb Ejiro as the person who first created, produced, and used the mark in commerce since 1996. It also described Anne's registration as the actress as being made in bad faith, since she knew of Ejiro's prior use and yet filed for registration. Her application was then cancelled and the trademark was expunged from the register. Later, Anne actually escalated the matter by filing a fresh action at the Federal Court in Lagos, but that was a separate process from what the Trademark Tribunal ruled. Further on, let's analyze the tribunal's opinion. Let's see if it is objective or it was in any way biased. First, it is important to note that the ruling conforms with Nigerian and international IP principles. Let's dive into it. Under Section 22 of the Trademarks Act, the person who first uses a mark in relation to goods or services in Nigeria is generally recognized as the true proprietor. Internationally, Article 16 of the TRIPS, that's TRIPS Agreement, obliges member states to protect well-known marks even if they are not registered. Domitilla, as a film title, was certainly a well-known mark since the 1990s when the film was produced. Second, the tribunal properly distinguished copyright from trademark. Copyright in the movie rests with Zeb Ejiru as the producer under Section 28 of the Copyright Act. However, trademarks on the other hand protect the branding element, but Anne could not claim proprietorship simply because she portrayed the character or she was the lead actress, because performance does not translate into trademark rights. Therefore, in my opinion, the tribunal was correct. Allowing Anne's claim would set a dangerous precedent where every actor or any lead actor could walk away with trademark rights over characters they play, leaving producers and studios unable to exploit their own movies. Do I agree with the ruling? Yes, I completely agree with the tribunal's ruling, as it will have been a dangerous precedent, as I earlier mentioned. And the tribunal also rightly emphasized that goodwill and proprietorship must flow from the originator of the work, without Zeb Ejiru actually creating and producing the film. And Njemaze, who was the lead actress of the film Domitilla, would have never been associated with the movie. Also, it is important to note that this case exposes gaps in Nigeria IP law. First, Nigeria obviously lacks clear statutory provisions on character merchandising. That is, whether fictional characters can be registered as trademarks and by whom. In Hollywood, for example, names like Superman and Harry Potter are protected by the studios and not individual actors. Second, there is no standard practice of actor-producer contracts in Hollywood that expressly assign IP rights. If such contracts existed in Nigeria, this dispute might never have arisen or have arisen. Third, the Trademark Act is outdated because it was enacted in 1965 with minimal reforms, and it does not fully address modern challenges or new age challenges in the realm of IP, trademarks, etc., such as brand licensing, merchandising, or overlapping copyright and trademark claims. So while the tribunal's decision is sound, the law itself needs urgent modernization or reform to meet the realities of the new age. To wrap it up, the Domitilla case is more than just the Nollywood quarrel between a producer and an actress or an actor. It is a lesson in intellectual property governance. It shows that producers must secure their rights from the start. Actors should understand the limits of their performance rights, and Nigeria must also update its IP laws. fix the cracks in it so that it can handle complex overlaps or lacunas in copyright, trademark, and entertainment law. Otherwise, disputes like this will continue to play out in our courts, testing the boundaries of ownership, usage, etc. in the creative industries. That will be all for the summary of my take on the Domitilla case. Thank you very much for listening.